The story of Prophet Job. In the ancient annals of the Bible, the tale of Job emerges as a timeless epic of faith, suffering, and divine justice. Though not explicitly titled a prophet in the scriptures, Job's life carries prophetic weight, offering profound lessons in patience, trust, and the mystery of God's will. Set in the enigmatic land of Uz, his story unfolds as a testament to human resilience and divine restoration, a narrative that has captivated hearts for centuries. Let us journey into the life of this remarkable man, whose trials and triumphs reveal the depths of God's sovereignty and mercy. In the ancient land of Uz, a region shrouded in mystery, possibly near the deserts of Edom southeast of Canaan, lived a man named Job. A figure whose righteousness shone like a beacon in a world often shadowed by sin. The Bible introduces him with reverence. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. His wealth was legendary, a symbol of divine favor in a culture where prosperity reflected God's blessing. 7,000 sheep grazed his vast pastures. 3,000 camels roamed his trade routes, 500 yoke of oxen plowed his fertile fields, and 500 female donkeys trotted beside his numerous servants, marking him as the greatest of all the people of the East. Beyond material riches, Job was a devoted family man, blessed with 7 sons and 3 daughters whose laughter filled his home. His devotion to God was profound. He rose early each morning to offer burnt offerings for his children, fearing they might have sinned during their festive gatherings, a father's love expressed through prayerful intercession. To all who knew him, Job's life seemed untouchable, a radiant testament to God's favor in a land where faith and fortune intertwined. Unbeknownst to Job, a cosmic drama was brewing in the heavenly courts, a realm where the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. One day, Satan, the accuser, appeared before God, his presence a stark contrast to the divine assembly. God, with pride in his voice, asked, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, who fears God and turns away from evil?" But Satan sneered, his words dripping with doubt. "Does Job fear God for no reason? Have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all that he has on every side? Stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face." Confident in Job's unyielding faith, God permitted the test, setting a boundary. "Behold, all that he has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand." This celestial wager marked the beginning of a trial that would challenge the limits of human endurance, a divine experiment to prove the authenticity of Job's devotion. As Job's children feasted in the house of their eldest brother, the desert winds carried a storm of devastation that would forever alter his life. Messengers burst into his tent, their faces etched with terror. Delivering news in rapid succession, the Sabaeans attacked and took away the oxen and donkeys and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. One cried, "Fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants." Another wailed, "The Chaldeans formed 3 groups and carried off the camels and killed the servants." A third gasped. But the final blow shattered Job's heart. A mighty wind struck the house where his 10 children were dining, collapsing it and killing them all in an instant, in a single day. Job's vast wealth and beloved family were reduced to ashes, the laughter of his household silenced by tragedy. Yet, in a moment of profound faith, Job rose, tore his robe, a cultural sign of mourning, and shaved his head, falling to the ground in worship through tears. He declared, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord," the scriptures affirm. In all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrong, his response a testament to his unshakable trust in divine sovereignty. Undeterred by Job's resilience, Satan returned to the heavenly courts, his pride wounded but his malice undiminished. Satan again. God pointed to Job's integrity, asking, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man?" Tortured, Skin for skin, all that a man has he will give for his life. But stretch out your hand and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face. God, confident in Job's faith, allowed this further test, saying, Behold, he is in your hand. Only spare his life. Satan struck with cruel precision, afflicting Job with loathsome sores from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head, a torment that turned his once strong body into a landscape of pain and disfigurement. Job sat in ashes, scraping his festering wounds with a piece of broken pottery, a solitary figure ostracized by a society that often viewed such afflictions as divine curses. His wife, her heart broken by their shared loss, pleaded in despair, Do you still hold fast your integrity? Curse God and die. But Job, his spirit a fortress, gently rebuked her, saying, You speak as one of the foolish women would speak. Shall we receive good from God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this, Job did not sin with his lips, his faith a lighthouse amid the storm of suffering. Word of Job's plight spread like wildfire across the sands of Uz, reaching his three friends Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. Driven by concern, they journeyed to his side, their hearts heavy with grief. Upon seeing Job's ravaged form, they wept aloud, tore their robes, and sat with him in silence for 7 days and nights, a profound act of mourning that honored the depth of his loss and their culture. But when they finally spoke, their comfort turned to accusation, reflecting the ancient belief that suffering was a direct result of sin. Eliphaz challenged, Think now. Who that was innocent ever perished, or where were the upright cut off? Bildad insisted, If your children sinned against him, he has delivered them into the hand of their transgression. Zophar urged, If iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and let not injustice dwell in your tents. Job, his innocence burning within, cried out in anguish, Why did I not die at birth, come out from the womb and expire? He wrestled with the unfairness of his plight, pouring out his soul in lament, yet never denied God, his faith a flickering flame amid the darkness of despair. As the debates with his friends raged, Job's heart poured forth in a torrent of lament, his words a raw expression of his inner turmoil. Why did I not die at birth, come out from the womb and expire? He cried. Longing for an end to his suffering, he questioned the justice of his pain, asking God, What is man, that you make so much of him, and that you set your mind on him? And pleading, Why do you not pardon my transgression and take away my iniquity? Yet, amid this anguish, a spark of hope ignited within him, for I know that my Redeemer lives, he proclaimed with trembling conviction, and at the last he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been thus destroyed, yet in my flesh I shall see God. This declaration, a prophetic whisper, spoke of a future vindication and a personal encounter with his Redeemer, a belief that transcended his physical torment and anchored his soul in the promise of divine restoration. As the cycle of arguments with his friends grew wearisome, a younger voice emerged, Elihu, who had listened in silence, his patience giving way to insight. He offered a new perspective, suggesting that suffering might serve a refining purpose, a tool of God's mercy to turn a man back from the pit. Then the skies over Uz darkened, and God himself spoke from a whirlwind, his voice a thunderous roar that shook the earth. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? He demanded, unveiling the wonders of creation, stars singing together at dawn, the seas confined by his command, the mighty Leviathan subdued by his power. God's questions were not answers to Job's suffering, but a revelation of his infinite wisdom, a reminder that the Creator's purposes are beyond human comprehension. This divine encounter left Job in awe, his heart humbled by the grandeur of the one who held the universe in his hands. Overwhelmed by God's majesty, Job responded with humility, I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. Therefore I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me which I did not know. He repented in dust and ashes, not for sin, but for presuming to question the divine will with his limited understanding. God then turned to Job's friends. rebuking them for their misguided counsel. You have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. He commanded them to offer 7 bulls and 7 rams as a burnt offering, with Job praying for them, an act of intercession that restored his role as a mediator. In a breathtaking act of grace, God restored Job's fortunes, doubling all he had lost. 14,000 sheep now roamed his pastures, 6,000 camels carried his goods. 1,000 yoke of oxen plowed his fields, and 1,000 female donkeys trotted beside his servants. He was blessed with 10 new children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, whose beauty was renowned, named Jemima, Keziah, and Karen Happuch, and a rare honor was bestowed upon them with an inheritance alongside their brothers. Job lived 140 more years, seeing his descendants to the 4th generation, and died old and full of days, his life a triumphant testament to God's justice and the power of enduring faith, the legacy of Job's endurance. Though Job is not explicitly called a prophet in the Bible, his story carries a prophetic resonance, a narrative that speaks to the hearts of the faithful across generations. His unshakable trust in God amid unimaginable suffering offers a model of endurance, a lesson in patience that transcends time. The tale of Job, set against the backdrop of Uz, reveals the mystery of divine justice. Suffering does not always signify punishment, but can serve to refine and strengthen the righteous. His restoration, doubling his blessings and granting him a long life, underscores the promise that God rewards those who persevere. This legacy, woven into the fabric of Scripture, invites us to trust in God's greater plan, even when the path is shrouded in darkness, a truth that echoes through the ages and finds its ultimate fulfillment in the redemptive story of Christ.